Mitch McConnell and other Republicans have made their message to corporations quite clear. If you co-sign these calls for protecting voting rights or any so-called leftist agenda, be prepared to face consequences. Consequences which seem to extend to Democrats, like Georgia State Rep. Park Cannon, who was arrested while knocking on Governor Kemp's door during the signing of their state's controversial voting rights bill. Why? Well, some said they were afraid of a riot if they let her stay there and keep knocking on the door. You buy that? Cannon's lawyer says she now faces 8 years in prison. She and her attorney, Gerald Griggs, join us now. Thank you for taking the opportunity.
Thank you for having us.
Hello.
So, Rep, I see that your arm's in a sling. I have heard reports that you injured it during the arrest. Is that true? If so, how did it happen?
You know, that is true. And I do want to thank you for having me and for everyone who's reached out as it relates to praying for me and also just realizing this moment is important because we're going to keep knocking. We're going to continue to raise our voices. And at this moment, I do not have a full medical report, but look forward to being healed.
All right. The police say you are a foot stomper who refused to leave when asked to when you were knocking on the door. And by foot stomping, I'm saying that they say you stomped on an officer's foot. Did you stomp on an officer's foot, and did you refuse to leave when asked to while knocking?
Well, you know, Chris, there are witnesses and video evidence of everything in this case. And so we believe that the police report is factually inaccurate. And once the witnesses are able to be interviewed by law enforcement and by the prosecutor, I think the truth will come out.
That's the legal point. The political point is, why did you do what you did, Park? What mattered to you? You knew it wasn't going to go well when the police came up. What were you doing there?
I'm 29 years old, and I'm elected to the district where Dr. King's birth home is, the Carter Center, even the state capitol. I'm also internally elected as the caucus secretary. So it is doubly my job as a state legislator and the secretary to attend bill signings as well as follow the process through so that the public can understand what is happening. Senate Bill 202 has had an irregular process from the start. The hearing dates would move around. I would get a Post-it note on my desk that would say, we were going to hear you in the morning, but we'll hear you in the evening. Then the hearing wouldn't happen. So when I was notified irregularly that the bill was being signed, I went and I knocked on the door like I regularly would. Counselor,
you've spoken to the DA, I'm told, that they would dismiss these charges, seeing it seems to be a little bit over 8 years for this. It's certainly not within the spirit of what this law is about. Georgia's Constitution says lawmakers shall be free from arrest, no matter the statute, during meetings of the General Assembly, except for treason, felony, or breach of the peace. What do you think is going to happen on the legal side?
I'm hopeful that the DA will review all the evidence we presented to her and dismiss the case. And you're correct, as the Georgia Constitution says. And none of the facts and circumstances in this case fit that Park Cannon should have been arrested or should be even charged. And so we're hopeful that the DA will apply the Constitution to this case and dismiss this case so that Park can go back to serving her constituents and serving the people of Georgia the way she's done for the last 5 years.
It's always easy to ask people, Park, hey, would you do it again when things get sticky politically? But having been arrested and knowing that this is a little bit of a dicey proposition, you don't know which way the DA goes on this, do you have any regrets about the situation?
That day, it was my intent to do my job, go home to my family, and come back the next day. But I do recognize this moment in politics because I have mentors. Congressman John Lewis took my hand, marched with me in 2016 to the Fulton County Government Center and spoke with me about why it was important to fight for the right to vote. Martin Luther King III, his family has sat with me and talked with me about these difficult times, but why it is so important that we keep knocking. So I look forward to being back at the state capitol when redistricting happens in just a few months. The same legislators who voted on this bill will draw our state's maps for 10 years, and I look forward for all of us being a part of that process.
Well, as you know, may rest in peace, Congressman Lewis would have called this good trouble, and he knew well the price that could carry it on and what a legacy of pain he brought into a sense of purpose in the House, and I understand that being impressive to you as well. So I'll end on a political thought. Senator McConnell says corporations should stay out of politics, except for the donating. Are you worried that there's a message being given right now that what the Georgia House did with the move of removing the rebate for gas from Delta, that corporations may be told to shut up and may listen because it's bad for business?
I think it is so interesting that someone would be wanting to receive the privilege of privacy in this moment when they are taking away the voting rights of every single Georgian, Republican or Democrat. So I stand for corporate accountability. I look forward to hearing more about what my constituents think about Coca-Cola and Delta and the other organizations implicated in this moment. It's time to stand up, all of us. I reached out to these organizations when the bills were being introduced and discussed, and yet today we finally hear action. So we're ready for this moment. Georgia is not afraid of this moment. We understand economic boycotts. We understand corporate accountability, and we understand protecting voting rights.
Representative Cannon, thank you for taking the opportunity. Heal and good luck going forward. Councilor Griggs, appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Thank you.